Welcome back to this leadership series. On this particular episode, I have a really dear colleague and friend, Sarah Willoughby, who's going to be joining us and sharing something that keys off of what our last speaker shared with us. So I'm really happy to have you here tonight, Sarah.
Hello, I'm so excited to be with you, Elle. Thanks for having me.
And Sarah's coming to us all the way from Australia. Where in Australia are you from?
I live in beautiful Melbourne, so we're just moving into spring, which is very exciting.
Wow. And I was just telling you how I don't have my natural light at 8 p.m. Eastern right now. So it's the sun has already set. So our days are getting shorter, yours are getting longer. And I'm actually going to change up the screen because I know you have some slides to share with us. And
I do.
I'm really excited to have you just share about yourself. And then I know you always have wonderful content. So you are now co-host and you are now spotlighted, Sarah.
All right, so let me just get my slides up for us. Okay. Okay, can you see that okay?
I can. Beautiful.
Beautiful. So today I want to talk about the importance of self-connection and how when we're connected to self, it helps us to be a better leader. So I'm going to briefly start by sharing a little bit about me, who am I, a little bit about my story, and then we're going to work through some tools and techniques that have changed my life, that have helped me to be a better leader, that have helped me to be a better person in general, and just to connect better with who I am and my journey. And then we'll share some next steps and how to connect with me. And then I also will have time at the end for questions from Elle, so we can dive into anything we want to a little bit deeper.
Fabulous.
So who am I? So as you might have noticed from my accent, I'm originally from the UK and I moved to Melbourne in 2009. I'm a mum to 3 beautiful children who are my greatest teachers and my biggest blessings. Prior to that, I spent 6 years at university and I spent 10 years working in corporate HR for companies like Rolls-Royce and Airbus, the plane manufacturer. And I was really lucky to be able to work with the engineers who designed, built, and delivered the A380 aircraft, the plane that flies us all over the world. Today, I work as a transformation coach, a best-selling author, speaker, energy healer, and infertility coach. And I help people to heal, love themselves, achieve more, and transform their lives. And I feel really blessed to be able to do what I love every single day. I really believe that the answers to all of our challenges, all our problems, both professionally as leaders and also personally, lie inside. And when we learn how to connect better with self, we can move through our challenges with more ease and grace, and also support other people to do the same thing. So let me take you back to 2009, because this is where my own transformation really started. In 2009, my son was 3 years old, and my doctors had told me that if I wanted to have another child, I would need to go through IVF. So a procedure that is for many just a very routine procedure, unfortunately for me, almost cost me my life. And I ended up in intensive care. My kidneys stopped working. I couldn't breathe. I had fluid on my lungs. My heart was enlarged. I was at risk of blood clots. And the doctors couldn't do anything to stop my deterioration. They could only treat each symptom as it arose. And I really faced my own mortality and realized how short life actually is. So why am I even telling you this? I know for a fact that if I hadn't have learned basic tools like meditation and mindfulness, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't have been able to cope with the mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical trauma that I endured during that really difficult time. And that's why I'm really passionate about meditation and mindfulness, and also our connection to nature is something that just really keeps me very firmly connected to self on my path and helps me to answer my own challenges and my own questions that come up every single day. So before we talk about meditation, I just really want to put some perspective into this. We know that our mindset is really important. And as leaders, We often can't change the circumstances that we face. We can't in life generally, but we can change how we respond to situations that come up, both for ourselves and those people that work for us. So, according to Dr. Joe Dispenza, who's an American scientist, author, and educator, we have between 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day, which is a huge amount. 90% of those are repeated from the day before, and 80% of those are negative. So, what that means is that our brains are really, really tired repeating the same thoughts. Often those are negative, and it doesn't leave much space for us to find creative solutions, to problem solve, to really help us to be the best that we can be, both as leaders and personally. So, it's really important to learn how to calm our minds and to create that space between all those thoughts so that we can be more productive leaders. So I want you just to take a moment just to tune into yourself, and on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being calm and relaxed and happy, and 10 feeling sort of a bit stressed and overwhelmed, where do you sit on that scale? Just take a moment for yourself, just to feel where you're at right now. So, what we know is that when we take that time to actually tune into ourselves and learn to quieten our minds, then we become better at dealing with stressful situations. And we know when we're out of balance. And when we know when we're out of balance, then we're able to take that first step to actually be able to do something about it, which is really important. Meditation, as I said, saved my life and has changed my life for the better. And what I love about it is that it's free and accessible to everybody. It doesn't discriminate. Meditation doesn't need to be sitting for 30 minutes in an uncomfortable position, which is what I was taught many years ago. And what I've also learned is that focusing on our breath for just 2 minutes every day really can start to change our life. And it has huge benefits. So if you're willing and ready and able, Elle, I would love for you to join me with this. What we're going to do is just a very simple 2-minute guided breathing meditation, just to help you to tune into self, just to calm, and just to notice how you feel at the end of that. So just take a moment to get comfortable in your chair. Make sure that your feet are touching the ground, and place your hands gently in your lap with your palms facing upwards. Make sure your spine is as straight as possible. And just take a few deep breaths in and out. Just letting go of all the stresses and strains of the day, giving yourself permission to be in this space right here, right now, with nowhere else to be. And with every out breath, you feel yourself becoming more and more relaxed. If your mind is a bit distracted, notice that it's like a cloud floating past in the sky. You notice those thoughts, but you just let them go. So we're now going to start a very simple breathing technique where we breathe in for 3, hold for 3, and breathe out for 3. So with your next in-breath, breathe in for 3, hold for 3, breathe out for 3. Breathe in for 3, hold for 3, breathe out for 3. Breathe in for 3, hold for 3, breathe out for 3. And I'm now going to leave you just for a minute to continue to do this on your own. And now I'd like you just to place one hand on your heart and one hand on your stomach. And imagine that you're breathing white light into your heart and breathing out white light. Breathing in white light, breathing out white light. I'm going to leave you just for another minute. And just bringing your awareness slowly back to the room. When you're ready, take a moment just to wriggle your fingers and your toes. Have a stretch and gently open your eyes. And if you have some water nearby, just taking a sip of water. So, Elle, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being calm, relaxed, and happy, and 10 feeling stressed and overwhelmed, where do you feel now compared to where you felt before?
Well, I was pretty calm before. I said I
Yeah,
was a 2. So I'm
awesome.
definitely a 1 now. Maybe just
Awesome.
mhm.
You've got this down pat. So
Yeah.
yeah, so hopefully, even if the number has only shifted by 1, you can feel that sort of energetic shift in your body,
Yes.
and
I
I love that feeling.
I also had something happen where as the light was coming in and then going out, it actually got darker on the way out. Like I could see a difference. That was
Okay,
rather
that's
unusual.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Have a little play around with that. See
Yeah, I
what
was
happens
playing
next
around with that.
time. Yeah, awesome. So as you can see, they're just really simple, quick meditations that you can do. You can do them regularly throughout the day. You can do them anywhere. You can do them sat at your desk. You could even introduce them to the start of team meetings just to generate that sort of cohesion and quiet within the team. There are lots of different ways to meditate and feel calmer. And I'm just going to talk to you about 3 very simple ones. So when I was first introduced to meditation, I didn't even know that walking meditation existed. So walking meditation is meditation in motion. So you don't close your eyes, obviously, otherwise you'd walk into something. But as you walk, you just start to feel yourself gently move into this daydream-like state, but you're still aware of everything around you, the sounds that your bodies make, where you feel your breath moving in and out of your body. And all this happens while you're aware of your surroundings. What I also love about this is that you can integrate this into your everyday life very easily. If you go for a walk every day, you can try this, go down to the beach, go and walk through a forest. So it doesn't need to be something that you adding to a to-do list, which as leaders, we know we're already very busy people. The second thing that has fundamentally changed my life too is being in water. So water is amazing because it helps us to feel our emotions, to process our emotions, and release our emotions. And when we do that, we actually help to reduce stress. When we're less stressed, we're able to think more clearly, we're able to be better leaders, we're able to be better, able to support other people within our teams. So if you haven't already connected with water, I really encourage you to try that. And just being in nature generally helps us to gain that clarity, helps us to clear our minds and be really productive. If you're not blessed to live in nature or be able to find nature every single day, even just bringing a pot plant inside can be really beneficial just to create a different energy shift within your home. And if we sort of take this connection with nature a step further, we can talk about grounding or earthing. I assume you've heard about grounding or earthing, Elle.
Yes, and I learned something interesting about it recently that I didn't know before. That
Oh, what did you learn?
one of the main purposes for having our feet on the ground is actually to disperse the electrical energy that's built up in us. It dissipates down into the ground.
Ah,
I didn't know that.
beautiful. Yeah,
I always
yeah,
thought of it the other way, like drawing the energy up, but
yeah,
it's actually dispersing, especially if you've gone through something stressful and you've had that kind of a day. To the
yeah,
moment you put your foot on the ground or have a pad, I have a pad in my
yeah.
home.
Okay.
And it's interesting to test too. Like if you get a tester by my fireplace, I'm on a 3rd level, like a penthouse condo. By my fireplace, it's grounded. Like I can put my foot there and I'm actually grounded. It's kind of crazy. So
It's beautiful, isn't
it
it?
is
It's such a beautiful
beautiful.
process. Yeah. So I love to ground in nature. So just going outside, taking my socks and shoes off. And for me, it does naturally re-energize me. But as you said, it's also the other process. And it really helps us to get out of our minds, to get away from that monkey chatter, the repetitive thoughts, and get into our bodies, which is where we can find the answers to our problems and be sort of really connect with self. So our body is providing answers to us all the times, but we're very distracted with just everyday life, and so we have lost that connection to self. So grounding helps to reduce those repetitive thoughts, supports us to make better decisions, helps us to feel less stressed, tired, and anxious. And there's 3 ways that I'll just share with you briefly of how you can ground. So the easiest way is to walk barefoot, which I love. I'm very blessed to live by the beach here in Melbourne, so I can go and walk barefoot on the beach every day. Take your socks and shoes off, obviously, or you can do it in your garden. You may have noticed that your children naturally do this. They love to run around barefoot, but I think often we tell them to put their socks and shoes back on because we don't want them to hurt their feet. But they intuitively know that this makes them feel better. So I really encourage them to do that. The second way is just lying on the ground. It's exactly the same, but you have a large surface area. So that process is much quicker. And you can do that with your eyes open. You can do it with your eyes closed. You can have a little snooze. And being in water, I've already mentioned the benefits of being in water. So swimming in the ocean, going to the hot springs, or even just being in a bath with natural sea salts is a beautiful way to ground and get back into your body.
Sarah, do you know when you're
Yep.
lying on the ground, is it a preference to be like on your back, your side, your stomach? Is there any preference there? Do you know?
For me, my back. I'm not sure from a scientific perspective about which way it has to be. I say on my back, but actually one thing I do in the summer, after I've been for a swim in my pool, if I'm feeling really stressed or tired or anxious, I will actually lie on my stomach and connect my heart to the ground. And that feels absolutely amazing.
Interesting.
Yeah, so from a scientific perspective, I'm not sure, but from a personal perspective, both works for me. But I have noticed that I've intuitively recently started lying on my stomach, which I love. Yeah, great question. Thanks, Al. So the final tool that I want to share with you today that again has fundamentally changed my life and is something that you might be able to introduce into your professional life as a leader is journaling or automatic writing. When we connect with ourselves in this way, we can hear that inner guidance and find solutions to problems. When we actually write with a pen or a pencil, it's different to when we type. We're connecting with a different part of ourselves. And we're also able to connect with our creative side, which I absolutely love. And when we connect with our creative side, we can find creative solutions to our problems. So my recommendation is that you set aside about 10 or 15 minutes. You find a quiet space to sit, put some gentle background music on, or you can do this in silence, and light a candle. And then what you do is you get a journal and you write a question for yourself at the top of your notebook or your journal. And then spend a minute looking at the flame of the candle. So what that will do is it takes you into this kind of daydream state again and helps you to relax, quieten that monkey mind, the repetitive thoughts, and to really start to tune into self. So you'll notice that your energy starts to shift and you start to write basically whatever comes into your mind. So you're not critiquing what you're writing. You are not being critical of spelling and grammar and actually writing. Most of us don't write anymore. So I know when I look at my writing, I'm like, geez, I need to practice my writing a bit better. But you just allow whatever needs to come through to flow like a stream of consciousness. And it's a really, really beautiful process. If your mind becomes distracted, which it can do, then you just look back at the candle for another minute just to help to shift your energy. And you'll find as you do this that your flow will come to a natural end. So you're not going to be sat there forever. You'll find that it will just naturally end. And the more often we practice this, then the longer you'll be able to sit for, which is great. And the more questions, therefore, you'll be able to ask yourself. So when you sit and you read back what you've written, don't discount it. You might have written some stuff and it makes absolutely no sense to you whatsoever in that moment. But I know from my own experience that some of the craziest things or things that I thought were crazy at the time that I've written down have actually happened in my life, have actually been the answers to some of the biggest problems that I've ever had. They've actually, eventuated. So keep an open mind to your inner wisdom and also have fun with it. It's a really fun way to just to connect with self. So have you tried that, Elle? Are you a journaler?
I was a journaler for a long time. And then I stopped.
Okay.
I keep a goal journal, but it's very business oriented.
Yeah.
And I stopped, but I also became a fiction writer in 2016.
Mm.
And I think that was an outlet for me that I had no idea I'd be doing. So I've been writing some screenplays and fiction, which is a totally different kind of writing, where, I mean, my characters actually come into my head. But I love this idea of the candle. And I'm such a type A high achiever type of person. So when you said, don't critique it, don't, that's not. So I'm curious about what kinds of questions you bring forward to yourself when you journal.
I've written all sorts of questions down. One of the questions that I wrote down for myself years ago was, who am I going to get my book published with? And I actually wrote down on that particular occasion, I transferred that note into my phone. And when I was offered my publishing contract last year with Morgan James Publishing, I was doing my due diligence and I was like, I need to get my contract. Before I sign my contract, I need to get it checked by a contract lawyer, right? So I knew that I'd had a conversation with somebody a couple of years prior that they'd given me the contact details of a contract lawyer. So I started looking through my phone to find this note. For whatever reason, I didn't use the search function, which would have helped me find it straight away. And for whatever reason, I went right back to a note that I'd put in my phone with the very first note that I'd ever put in, which was 4 years prior. So February 2018. In that note, there was like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of words. And in the middle of that note was something that I had written down, which said, you're going to have your book published with a publisher beginning with the letter M. That had come through my own higher self, through my own writing. And at the time, I hadn't connected with Morgan James. I didn't even know they existed.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing.
So that was my reconfirmation that I was on the right path, that this was something that I needed to do. And it's amazing. I've also written things down on a personal level around, you know, is my child at the right school, and which child should they go to, you know, which school should they go to, and that's all eventuated, even though at the time I was like, oh well, I can't afford to send them to that school. And then, you know, a few years later it's all worked itself out, and it was actually the right path. So you can use it personally, professionally, have fun with it. So it definitely works. It helps us just to tap into that different part of ourselves. You know, the wisdom is all inside. We have all the answers inside. We really do.
Me too. That is beautiful.
Okay, so I just want to summarize very briefly what we've spoken about today, and then we can carry on our conversation with any other questions or topics that you want me to delve into more. So number one, I really do encourage you to, if you haven't already, to explore nature and to try grounding, because it really does shift your energy and it's a beautiful process. Number two, really encourage you to practice that 2-minute breathing meditation every day, or the heart visualization meditation, whichever resonated with you more. Just doing that really just helps us to center and to connect better with self. Number three, if you would like to delve into breathing meditation a little bit deeper, then there is a free 9-minute guided breathing meditation available to listen to on my website. And if you would like your own copy, you can sign up to my newsletter and that will be gifted to you. Number four, there are lots of other meditations available on my website. So overcoming fear, limiting beliefs, forgiveness, gratitude, and grief. So do go and check those out. Number five, coaching for myself and also exploring Reiki, energy healing, distant healing has fundamentally changed my life. So it's helped me to make so many positive changes in my life, both professionally and personally. What I love about Reiki, so Reiki is a Japanese energy healing, very gentle yet powerful. And it's based on the, you know, on the knowledge that we are our own healer. So when I give Reiki to somebody, I'm just the facilitator. We heal ourselves. And it's also what I love about Reiki, which is very exciting, is that it's being used all over the world to help cancer patients to deal with the side effects of chemotherapy. So it wouldn't be being used in hospitals if people weren't feeling the benefits of that. It's done through non-invasive touch, so it's not painful in any way, which suits me. I'm not one for, you know, in putting pain through on myself. And it has no boundaries. So distant healing is amazing if you don't live in the same place as a Reiki practitioner, or you're finding that you're just really busy, but you know that you want to deal with stress and overwhelm. Then you can actually just have a distant healing, and you don't even need to be present for those sessions. So the notes then just emailed to you, and you still receive those benefits. If you'd like to learn more about my one-on-one coaching and energy healing sessions, then do apply for a free 15-minute consultation. And number 6, if you would like to read more about my story, my journey through secondary infertility, my journey out of the corporate world, all of these things that happened at the same time, and my new life over in Australia, it's really a story about hope and inspiration. It's not just about secondary infertility. And then the second part of the book is all the tools, techniques, wisdom, and insight that I gained along that journey, and how I transformed my life into doing what I do now. Then do go to my website. You can order a signed author copy there, and I will send that to you. It is also available as an ebook now, or you can pre-order a paperback version through all the main online retailers. And it's coming out officially in bookstores on the 6th of December, which is going to be here before we know it. So I can't wait. I love connecting with people. If you have any questions, if you want to ask me anything from the session today, do email me. I'd love to connect. And you can also connect with me via my website, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. So basically search my name and you will find me. But I'm now going to stop the screen share, and we can carry on the conversation.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Sarah. That was really, really beautiful. The slides are beautiful too. Like,
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. I mean, you and I could talk for hours. We know that. But um, I think to tie this in, and I now know
Yep.
like which speakers I'm putting after, before and after you,
Yep.
because it's going to make so much sense to people. But I really appreciate the idea that as leaders, we need to know ourselves, and we need to take those little steps, whether it's 15 minutes a day, or a 2-minute meditation, but the idea of just taking a little bit of time. And I love how you brought up the question, how will my book be published? And that you can dive in on a business question, you can dive in on a personal question, a spiritual question, a financial question, like any question at all.
Yes.
In that automatic writing, I'm curious about that term.
Automatic writing, I guess it's just that flow of consciousness.
Okay.
It's nothing more than that. It's just tapping into that other part of yourself. There's no editing involved
Okay,
in
there we go.
automatic writing. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. That's beautiful. So yeah, I mean, what you did was just in a beautiful capsule. So I think we should leave it at that.
Awesome. Well, thank
Yeah.
you so much. I've enjoyed chatting with you and sharing everything that has fundamentally changed my life. So I hope there's something there for everybody. And like I said, do feel free to reach out and connect.
Yeah. So we will have these links below, and make sure to connect to Sarah's book, to Sarah in general. She has such a wealth of information and help for people. And I'm just so grateful we are friends, and that you came on and shared as a part of this summit. So thank you, Sarah.
So grateful too. Thank you so much, Elle.